this is Dave
and Barbara
from Hiking with Dave and Barbara. You can catch our blog on www.hikingwithdavebandbarbara.com. And you can also see our YouTube channel, Hiking with Dave and Barbara, behind us. Okay, we're just doing a series of Can You Do It videos, and today's video is going to be on the Thames Path, which goes from the source to the Thames Barrier. I must say it's something I never really wanted to do before, but Barbara gets very excited about it. And last year we had a bit of a window and we decided to do it. Any reason why you wanted to do it, Barbara?
There was a 10-12 weather window, which was, and we were at home, and it's just it's England's most iconic river with so much history along the sides. And to me, I just thought it was very exciting to walk along through Oxford and Windsor. You come into London and, like Dave says, it ends in Greenwich at the Thames Barrier and the buildings in London, and it's just fantastic to be able to do it. So that's why we did it. And also I fancied something slightly easier than our normal rambling around climbing 1,000 metres a day. This is just a gentle stroll by a river carrying your bag.
Okay, what we've done is, thank you for that, what we've done is split it into 5 sections as per normal. Section 1, the cost, so can you actually afford to do it? Section 2, the timescales, have you got the time to do it? Because it's quite a long walk. Section 3, can you do it? Good question, as always. 4th section are the services in terms of the hotels and the food, and the 5th section is just specific to the Thames Path. Every hike has its own nuances, and we'll cover a few of those at the end. So, should we start with the cost?
Yep.
The cost. Okay, let's have a look at the cost. Most of the costs we encountered were for hotel accommodation, which you'd expect. And we are basically in deepest southern England, possibly the most expensive part of the UK. We didn't stay in the best hotels, that's for sure, but we stayed in nice bed and breakfasts or pubs. We were averaging about £85 to £90 per night for both of us, bed and breakfast. So over a 12-day trip, it's going to come in something like £1,000 for 2. Now the problem is, if you're doing this on your own in the UK, it's not half the price. A single room is sometimes the same or a little bit cheaper than a double room. So as a single person, it's still going to cost you £85 per night, bed and breakfast. I think that's just the way it is.
I'd just like to say, it's not like being in Spain. There's no dormitory options. No. There was one youth hostel we could have stayed in, but that was fully booked. So this is the basic price, really, isn't it? It
is the basic price. We didn't see any camping options or whatever.
Very few. Well. We tend to use the bookings.com website, and I just check it in the morning or at lunchtime, see where we're going that day, book something for the evening. Yeah,
we'll cover the accommodation in the services section in a little while. We're going to move on now. So if you can afford it, then you're still okay to do this trek. So let's have a look at the timescales. Okay, let's have a look at the timescales. Let's have a look at the distance. The distance is 186 miles, which we chose to do in 12 days. I would say 12 days is quite quick. It averages 15 miles per day or 25 kilometres per day. If you want to spread it out a bit longer, you can do it in as many days as you want. But if you assume 12, 13, 14 days, you're going to need at least a 2-week holiday in the southern England to complete this walk. Time of the year you can go. We went in April, but I think the main times to go would be April, May, June, July, August or September. Outside these times, it's probably going to be cool and bad weather. People say July, August is too hot. I just read that on somebody else's. Yes, they did. I'm thinking that is not true. July, August will be good. One thing to bear in mind is that the price of hotels, etc., will go up in the summer months, July, August. We did it in April. April was a pretty good time, in my opinion. Okay. Let's move on to section 3. Can you actually do this walk? Actually do this walk? Well, the answer should be yes. The reason why? There is no altitude at all. You're following a riverbank. It goes off the river sometimes, but it basically stays near or down by the river. In fact, there is a slight descent. Obviously, the water's going down towards London. So, relatively, if you can do 15 miles a day, you should be able to do this walk in 12, 13, 14 days. It isn't really hard. Anything to add on the hardness stakes, Barbara?
One thing that makes hiking more difficult is I don't think people are used to walking day after day, which is a different mental attitude.
It is.
And we were again carrying the rucksacks.
Yes.
There are apparently some bag carrying services. We didn't really check them out because there's only the two of us. Not many people doing it. I just assumed they'd be slightly expensive, but maybe in the summer months there's more people there. Check them out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Certainly, the bag carrying services we've used before, like Sherpa, they weren't doing the Thames Path, but Barbara has in her blog got a company that would give you a price if you wanted your bags moving on. I would imagine it's not going to be an inexpensive proposition. There just isn't that many people doing this particular walk at different times of the year. Anyway, should we move on to the services section, Barbara?
Yep.
Yeah, let's move on to the service. Right, let's have a look at the services now. We're going to break this down into the hotels and the food. If I just cover the hotels, most of them were bed and breakfasts or small pubs, I think we could say, a few hotels. It's not always easy to find a hotel at the right price on the walk. So you've got to be prepared sometimes to get a taxi somewhere. I think day 3, I think Farringdon or somewhere, we arrived at a bridge which was part of the walk, no hotels there, or the hotel was full. We took a taxi 2 or 3 miles to a town, stayed there at night, took the taxi back to the original spot and carried on the walk. That was one little trick we found.
Yeah.
As you get further into London, there's occasions where there's no accommodation, but there's a station. You can catch the station, get the train, go 5 or 6 miles down the road, stay in a hotel, come back the next day. When you get into London again, another little trick was you could get the train into London and stay at a hotel, for the same hotel, for a couple of nights. We did this in the Travelodge in Battersea, I recall, which is on the river. But what it means is that the next day or a couple of days, you can take the train back, but you've got no rucksack. So those days are actually quite easy. Barbara's blog goes into good detail about this, and it'll explain how you can maybe save carrying your bag, how to get a cheaper accommodation. She's done a great blog on this, so have a look at that. Anything to add on the food side or the accommodation side as well, or the food side?
We carried lunch sometimes, or we did pub lunches, which were very, very nice.
Yeah.
We got sandwiches. We went in supermarkets.
Yeah.
Again, on comms on your phone, you can just see where the next town is and what's available, what food's available.
Yeah.
In the evenings, we'd have like dinner in the pub where we were staying. Really, really nice food that we ate, actually.
Yeah, it's worth having data on your phone. Certainly, obviously, a UK person would have it. If you come over from the States or you're make sure you've got some data on your phone. It's much easier to check hotels in advance, railway stations, etc., etc. But basically, it's a walk. So you're not cheating. We did the full 186 miles from start to finish. Okay, we'll move on to the last section, which is hike-specific issues. Okay, let's look to the last section, which is hike-specific issues, which I can't think of any. Can you think of any, Barbara?
I will say this is a hike that I wanted to do, but I found the first 2 or 3 days from the source near Campbell, near Cirencester, to Oxford, it was an amble by a river with some water meadows. It wasn't very interesting. After a couple of hours, we put the music on or podcasts on. So maybe if you weren't going to do the whole thing, maybe start in Oxford, go to Abingdon, walk down to Windsor, and it is so much more interesting. And I think also because we did it in April, we didn't meet anybody else doing the walk. We didn't meet anybody where we stayed. And previously we've walked across Spain, we've done the Camino in Spain, and we love meeting people from around the world. And Thames Path, honestly, we met nobody. Yeah,
it is true. The first 3 or 4 days, it was virtually walking by a stream. Can't quite describe it. When you get past Oxford, Barbara's right, you're going through Abingdon, you're going through Henley, you're going through Windsor, you go past Hampton Court, you go into London past Parliament. It is amazing. Last
It is fantastic.
7 or 8 days
Yeah.
are vastly better than the first 4 days. So if you're flying in from somewhere, the States or whatever, and you only have a week or maybe a bit longer than that, maybe 10 or 11 days, start in Oxford. It's still a long way. It's still going to be 120 miles or so, and it is a great walk. I'll just reiterate that thing that Barbara said about there's not many people doing this. If you're on your own, it's going to be a pretty lonely 2 weeks. We did speak to one person, I think, in that pub in Abingdon or somewhere, but actually it's a very lonely walk. And if you want to meet people and stuff, I would say maybe this walk isn't for you.
But if you like being on your own and quiet, meadows, birds, river, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, if you catch the weather like we did, it was a great walk. We really enjoyed it.
I'm pleased that we did it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not one of our best.
No, I think we've done more. We've had more fun on other walks, meeting other people.
We have.
Anyway, should we leave it there, Barbara?
The final thing.
Okay.
To get to the start, we caught the train from Manchester to Cheltenham to Kemble. Come out of the station in Kemble. That was a really easy. Well, we did it with a few trains. Coming back, London, Euston, catch the train home. Yeah,
it's quite easy to start and finish this walk.
Yeah.
It's a bonus really. But I won't reiterate one more time, but Barbara's blog is great. Just have a look at the blog. Also have a look at our videos. It'll give you an idea the terrain, the people. I mean, some interesting places, certainly on the second part of it. Definitely.
Or if you fancy doing it differently, spend a day in Windsor, around the castle, get up to Kingston on Thames, look round Hampton Court. Just spend a week doing some walking and visiting the historical sites along the way. Yeah,
it's definitely worth maybe stopping Windsor.
Hampton Court,
or Windsor. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we'll leave it there. See you on our next Can You Do It video.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.